kid bet his friend, "I bet you I can go an entire Saturday without using my hands." The entire Saturday. His friend was like, "Okay, but I picked this Saturday, and it's gonna be this Saturday, which is the same day as my birthday party." So the rule was, if he touched anything with his hands, he would lose the bet. His friend thought he maybe would last an hour, but no, this kid took it seriously. Opened doors with his feet, turned light switches on with his nose. He ate breakfast off a plate like a dog. Then that afternoon was his friend's birthday party. He gets there, and everyone's eating pizza. His friend goes, "Good luck, dude. You're definitely losing this bet." Kid looks around. Now, like I said, everyone's eating pizza. He's hungry. How is he gonna do this? So what he does is he goes to the old people table. "Hey guys, I'm not feeling too well today. Can one of you go get me a plate of 3 slices of pizza?" "Sure, kid, I'll go get you some pizza." The old guy goes to get him some pizza, comes back. The kid says, "Oh, I'm not feeling too well, like I said. Could you please feed me the pizza?" "Sure, I'll feed you the pizza." And the old guy starts feeding this kid the pizza. His friend is sitting all the way over at a different table, and he's like, "No frickin' way, dude. That's crazy." Well, the kid wins the bet. Everyone's asking, "So how much did you guys make the bet for?" And he says, "Oh, $5. $5. And that's how hard he went on that bet. What a legend. You gotta respect it. No video games until all chores for the day are finished. Every night his parents would write this thing on a whiteboard that's on the fridge. It was chores for the next day. They wrote them that night so that when he came home from school, he did them. They thought this would stop him from sitting on Xbox all night. Instead, this kid began waking up at 4 a.m. every morning. His parents would wake up at 7. "Wait, dishwasher's done, laundry's folded, garbage is out. Billy, your room's clean." "Yeah, that's right." He goes to school, comes home, immediately gets on the Xbox. "Hey, you know that..." "Oh wait, you finished it already. Everything." "Oh, your homework." "It's finished. On the table, underneath my folder." "Nice." And his mom is trying to say stuff like, "You cannot wake up at 4 in the morning and do all of your chores just so when you can come home you can play Xbox all night. Everything's done, right?" "Well, I mean, yeah. And you're not going to be petty and make up more chores just so I won't play, right?" "I mean, no." "Well, then what's the problem, Missy?" Oh. And he was right, and his grades were good, and he never woke them up when he woke up early. So although his parents wanted to stop him, there was kind of nothing they could do. So he just kept doing it. What a legend! This kid figured out how to turn junk at yard sales valuable. He would go to thrift stores and buy these old-looking things, like an ugly brass lamp, or a wooden box, a small statue. He got the stuff for like $3 or $4 each. Then he would go home and make these professional-looking cards, history cards, and kind of stain the paper to make it look old, and then like laminate it. It was these elaborate stories that he would make up, like, "This lamp belongs to a New York City hotel. During the 1940s, the president stayed here." And that's obviously not true, but a guy walked up. "Hey, this is a piece of history. I'll give you $30 for it." Bingo, deal. Another one. "This box was found during the clean out of a 100-year-old farmhouse." "Hey, this one. I like it. I want it. $40. None of this stuff was true. He was scamming the neighborhood every single time. His parents finally asked him, "Hey, how do you know all this stuff?" And he just said, "I don't. I made it up." And they're like, "Bruh." And they made him stop that for good. But he made hundreds of dollars. And for that I say, gotta respect the hustle. There was a kid who was out to dinner with his family, and this woman at the table next to him was coughing hard. The lady's date stood up. Everyone's kind of like, "Yo, is she okay?" She kept waving around like, I'm fine. Finally, she coughed something up and spit it on the floor and went right back to eating with her date. Anyways, so I grew up in New Hampshire. And that kid was so weirded out. He's like, "What was that? Also, gross. Also, what did you spit out?" And he got a closer look. What the heck? Sitting there, covered in her mucus and food on the floor, was one of those tiny plastic babies. What? And like I said, she was just casually eating again, like nothing had happened. And for the rest of dinner, the kid barely touched his food because could not figure out how that tiny baby got in there in the first place. That's weird. This dad would charge his kids anytime they left something out, like dirty clothes in the floor, shoes in the hallway, dishes in the sink, backpack on the stairs. Every single time they had to pay him their own money. You see, his kids had gotten an allowance when they were younger, and then when they were old enough, they both had weekend jobs, so they had money to pay whenever this happened. Every time they had to give him money, he would write it down in a notebook. The kids thought it was ridiculous. The dad thought he was running a business. For years, they complained about this. Complained about how much money he had taken from them. Then, on the day each of them graduated high school, the dad handed them an envelope. Inside of each of their envelopes was every single dollar he had ever charged them, along with a handwritten list showing exactly what every fine was for. And at the bottom of that list was another note. It said, interest. He had been adding extra money on top of everything they paid him. The dad smiled and said, I never wanted your money, kids. I just wanted you to stop leaving your junk all over my house. And I figured this would be a nice, fun way to help get your adult life started. The kids cried. They said that they spent years thinking about how strict their dad was, only to realize he'd been saving every single penny for them and adding a lot more of his own money to it as well. That's amazing. This group of friends created a monthly award. They went to this trophy shop and bought this giant trophy, and they had the front engraved, the Idiot of the Month. And here was the rule. 2 kids in this friend group were permanently judges. They were banned from competing, and all month, every month, everybody else was eligible to be the Idiot of the Month. Basically, everybody would try to do the dumbest thing possible. Sometimes it was an accident, like calling a teacher mom or saying I love you to the milkman. Others did stuff on purpose, like shoving hands in a jar of peanut butter and running around the school shouting milk! Then on the last Friday of every month, this friend group would all meet up. Now this entire time, these judges were clocking everything that happened, and there had to be proof or witnesses or a video of something happening. The judges would pick 3 finalists. The finalists would come up, they would announce their case, why they deserved the trophy, then the judges would deliberate and choose one winner. And that winner would get to keep the trophy in their room for the rest of that month. I forgot to mention that when the person was announced the winner, they would take the trophy to the trophy shop and they would have their name engraved on the open space at the bottom. After about a year, there were so many names engraved on this trophy that it became very prestigious to win. People were even fighting to be a part of this friend group because honestly, that sounds awesome, and I would definitely do that. There were these 2 friend groups that would kind of hang out with each other sometimes, but they were completely different. One group was super loud and rambunctious, always messing around, always getting kicked out of places. The other group was really chill. One day, one group said to the other group, dude, we'll trade you Ryan for Jake, our noodle. The other group was like, deal. So they did it for 1 week. Ryan had to sit with the other group, hang out with them after school, got added to their group chat, and Jake did the same thing with Ryan's friends. Everybody thought it would last for a day because it would probably be awkward, except Ryan loved the other group, and Jake fit into his new group immediately as well. A couple days in, each group was like, hey, just so you know, dude, you're back with us on Friday. But Ryan and Jake were both like, we'll see. Friday comes. They meet up to officially reverse the trade, and both kids refuse. I actually think I'm gonna stay here. Yeah, or doodle. Now these guys were kind of like, what? This trade was a joke. And now they somehow permanently traded some of their best friends. Funniest part was, months later, a year later, when someone asks, so how did you guys officially become friends with Jake? They would just say, oh, he got traded to us. That's hilarious. This kid's dad had a rule about cereal. You were not allowed to open a new box until the old one was completely gone. Every last crumb had to be eaten. The boxes would stay on top of the refrigerator, lined up in order from oldest to newest. If box 1 wasn't finished, box 2 would not be opened. One afternoon, this kid's dad came home with a brand new cereal that looked absolutely delicious. Oh, that looks so good. Kids got so excited until they remembered, dude, doesn't your dad have a rule about cereal? Because there was still 6 boxes of cereal still on that fridge. So his friend, who was sleeping over that night, looked at each other. Let's eat them all then. Okay. For the next hour and a half, they ate bowl after bowl of cereal. There's like Frosted Flakes, Raisin Bran, Cocoa Puffs. By the time they finally reached a brand new box, they were so full of cereal and milk, this kid's friend puked on the floor. And then that made him puke. Neither of them could take another bite. Guess we'll just try it tomorrow morning then. Yeah, I guess you're right. The dad came downstairs, looked at this mess, and knew exactly what happened. Then he just laughed to himself. That's crazy. This kid at this one school was actually pretty popular. Y'all, it's nice. He knew everybody, and because of that, he thought he could basically decide who was cool and who wasn't. The kid was actually kind of a bully. Well, there was one kid he didn't really like, and when he found out that that kid was having a birthday party, he started telling everybody, "Hey bro, do not go to that kid's party."
Wait, my party?
Yeah, he's a loser.
Oh, man.
He was saying this to everyone. Yeah, guys, don't go to Johnny's party. We're gonna do something else this Saturday. And kids who weren't even planning on going to this party were like, yo, why does this guy care so much? Well, everyone thought the bully was being absolutely ridiculous for this. So people began asking the birthday kid, "Hey man, you mind if I come to your party this weekend?" "Oh, sure."
Hey, you mind if I come to your party this weekend?
"Yeah." The old kids told their friends. Then Saturday night at this kid's party, the house was packed. People who barely even knew him showed up, and they showed up with gifts. "Yo, guys, thanks for coming. This is the best birthday ever." Meanwhile, the bully's texting his friends, trying to make his own plans. "Yo, Squanny, what are you doing tonight, bud?"
Oh, I'm at the party, dude.
"Whatever, bye."
Hey, Billy, what you doing tonight, man?
"Oh, I'm at the party, dude. It's awesome." What the? He keeps going down his list of friends, and every single person was at this kid's birthday party. His evil scheme to get people not to go completely backfired. And the kid whose party he tried to ruin ended up having the biggest, most funnest birthday party of the year. Good. Screw that bully.